Hi everybody, thank you for joining me for my yin final. My name is Mandy and my yin final, the focus of it is the kidney meridian. And I do have the human body meridians behind me just for some extra inspiration for everyone. They are color coded. I did my yin passion project on the same topic, so your yin meridians. So take a listen to that if you have some time to do so. And so thank you again for joining me. Let's go ahead and get started. So your kidney meridian, I'm going to show you where it runs in your body. So it starts at your baby toe, your pinky toe. It's going to run around the arch of your foot, across the sole of your foot, up the side of your legs, up your thighs, past your knee, up your thigh. It's going to end close to your tailbone. It's going to run up the spine and connect into your kidneys, and then continue running up the spine, coming around to end at your tongue. So it's a very interesting line throughout your body. You're going to see it on both your anterior, your front of your body, and your posterior, your back of your body. You'll be able to see both of those, and you'll be able to see it on here as well. So your kidney meridian is your KD. So you'll see it right here. It's the purple line, if you can see that. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start with some breathing, some kind of meditative sort of breathing. I have a couple different bolsters here, lots of props. I tend to use a fair amount of props during my yin practice, and this bolster is a pranayama bolster, so something that we can use for our breathing practice. So the way I like to use it is to go ahead and lay down, placing the shoulder blades right on the bolster. And I tend to just lay my head directly on the mat. Some people have a little bit more sensitivity in their necks, and if you do, you can place a block right at the top of the mat. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can use this time to maneuver until you get into a comfortable position. So you can always add a block, or if you feel okay, just letting your head fall onto the mat. It's perfectly fine. I like to bring my arms out to the side, really opening up my heart chakra, opening up my chest, letting my legs fall to the sides, not using any muscles here. Tucking your tailbone just a little bit to make sure you don't have too much curvature in your lumbar spine, and starting to breathe. So taking very full inhales through your nose and full exhales either out your mouth or out your nose. Using this time to start to check in with your bodies. Checking in, doing a scan, seeing if there's anywhere that you need to nurture a little bit more today. Maybe seeing if there's anywhere that feels especially good today. Just inhaling all of these sensations in, acknowledging it, all of the sensations, never judging, just observing, and then exhaling them out. So we're going to be working on lengthening our breath. So we'll be using our 4x4 breathing. So inhaling to the count of 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhaling to the count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe in the beginning you feel like 4 is too long, but our goal is to elongate the breath. So really starting to deeply breathe. So really feeling up our lungs, filling up our bellies, our side ribs, maybe even feeling the breath in our low back, expanding our chest. And fully exhaling. attention to how we feel in our emotions today. Again, observing, not judging, acknowledging, and exhaling. Same thing with our physical bodies. Inhaling, observing, acknowledging, and exhaling. Let's take 4 more really deep inhales and full exhales using our 4x4 breathing. So inhaling to the count of 4 and exhaling to the count of 4. At your own pace, trying to increase the length of time. Maybe 4 seems like it's not long enough at this point, so maybe increasing your number, adding 5 or 6. Maybe even going all the way to 7. So just really spending our time deeply inhaling and fully exhaling. To bring our legs closer together, bring our arms down towards our sides of our body, starting to push down through our palms, coming up to your forearms and lifting yourself to a seated position. And we're going to start our kidney meridian practice today in our butterfly pose. So our butterfly pose will sit nice and tall, sit on your sits bones here. You can always place a block underneath of you to get you elevated a little bit, or if you do have one of these pranayama bolsters that are a lot smaller than your regular bolster, feel free to sit on the pranayama bolster. So just lifting our sits bones a little bit off of the mat, giving us a fold feeling so that you can fold easier coming towards your feet. So from here, you can also use a folded blanket. If you're at home and you only have maybe pillows from your sofa, 100%, that's perfect to use. So we have an option to use a strap as well. So some people like to use a strap in their folds, and I say whatever props make you come into your pose, sink into your pose, find your edge, settling in, I'm all for it. So placing the strap around your feet. The only issue that can come up with using your strap is some people really pull and use their muscles. So we're trying not to use our muscles in yin. We want to have a passive stretch. So it's pulling on your strap just a bit to fold forward. So if you choose to not use your strap, we can place a block in front of us. We can place our bolster in front of us. We're going to do our forward fold. So sitting up nice and tall on your sits bones, elongated spine, crown of the head to the ceiling. Taking a deep inhale here. And on our exhale, forward folding, maybe grabbing onto your feet, maybe bringing your block right here. So when you're holding onto your feet, just a light cup of your hands around your toes. Sinking your shoulders down, breathing here, letting your shoulders relax, letting your elbows relax, maybe resting the elbows on your ankles. Breathing here, still maybe incorporating that 4x4 breath.
let's just sink into the fold, and we're feeling quite a bit of sensation across our thighs. We're starting to engage the yoga yin meridians, their kidney meridian on the sides of your thighs, coming towards your tailbone. If there's anything that's blocked, sinking in, settling into our pose, hoping to let the chi flow thoroughly through the kidney meridian pathway. We're going to stay here for a couple more minutes, so let's just go ahead and sink into silence. Okay, let's go ahead and start to slowly rise up from our butterfly pose and our forward fold. We're going to stay seated on your folded blanket or your sofa cushion or a block, probably a foam block though, not a cork block, or a pranayama bolster, whatever you have. We're going to come into our dragonfly seat. So for dragonfly, you just want to bring your legs out as wide as is comfortable for you. Everybody is going to have a different amount of width that is most comfortable for them. I like to bring my large bolster in front of me and fold down onto my forearms, where I'm trying to have a much more supported practice with my kidney meridian practice today. So just bring your legs, like I said, as wide as they will go. We're
we're going to forward fold onto our bolster. So sitting up nice and tall, taking a big inhale, exhaling, sinking down. So something else to think about, keeping your feet up and towards your body. We don't want to have your feet start to fall, that can hurt your ankles. So keeping your feet towards your body, sinking down into our dragonfly pose. If you cannot relax your neck here, you can always bring a block again on top of your bolster. If you feel like you are able to relax your neck, go ahead and just hang right here. So we're working on finding our edge, finding that sweet spot, settling into our pose, rolling your shoulders down, breathing deeply, coming back to your 4x4 breath, or maybe you've extended the amount of numbers. Maybe you're all the way up to 7 or 8. Sinking deeply into your pose, softening, and giving yourself some stillness. So let's go ahead and start to come up out of our dragonfly pose. We'll bend our knees and bring yourself off of whatever you've been sitting on. So I took myself off of my pranayama bolster. So I'm going to move the bolster off to the side because now we're going to come into our saddle pose. So for saddle pose, I have a lot of different students that take a variety of options for this. So I'm going to show you some options. So you want to bring your bolster right behind your hips. So it's not sitting on the bolster at all. It's sitting next to the bolster. It's right up against your hips. So from here, we're going to bring our legs out to the sides of our mats, letting your knees meet the edges, your shins meet the edges, and we're going to sit down right between our feet. So if you have your bolster behind you, we'll go ahead and slowly let ourselves fall down, reclined onto our bolster, into our full saddle pose. So if you take full saddle and you feel comfortable where you are, bringing your arms out to the side, rolling your shoulder blades underneath you, settling into the pose. Option to go ahead and bring one leg in front of you, and this is your half saddle pose. So if you do that halfway through class, your teacher or instructor will tell you to switch your leg. Also, if you need to have a little bit more height to your bolster, it's a little low for you to come down all the way onto, you can place a block or more than one block underneath and start to create almost like a little ramp for you to lie back on. So for the purposes of right now, we're going to come into our full saddle pose, sinking into the pose, spending some time here. Again, finding your edge, finding your sweet spot, settling into the pose, and remembering to breathe in, acknowledging whatever you're feeling in your body, acknowledging the clutter that comes into your mind if it does, and just letting it leave your body, leave your mind with your exhale, and coming back to your counting of your breath. So your 4 count, 5 count, 6 count, wherever you're at, elongating your breath, opening your heart, feeling the kidney meridian starting to open. If you have any blockages, hopefully that's starting to fade away. Just breathing here, feeling your belly expand, feeling your side ribs expand, your chest expand.
Let's start to come onto our forearms, and we'll push down our forearms onto our fingers, bringing yourself forward and your knees together. Now let's go ahead and sit down in hero pose, bringing our bolsters off to the side. We don't need it for our next pose. So our next pose is our toe squat. And our toe squat, remember your kidney meridian starts at your pinky toe. So coming forward onto your hands, you're going to tuck your toes. Okay, so keeping your knees down, you're still almost in the hero pose, but you're going to tuck your toes, and then you're going to sit down right on your heels. So getting a comfortable spot, a lot of people come into this pose and are like, oh, it's a lot of sensation, and it is, but we don't stay in this pose as long as we do some of our other poses. So sinking in, rolling our shoulders back and down, placing your palms nice and open and wide on and rooting down into your thighs, closing your eyes, maybe letting your head hang down, maybe starting to work your neck just a little bit here, just to make sure we're nice and relaxed. Breathing in, making sure that you're staying in your pose for as long as you can, as long as you don't feel pain. You're going to feel a lot of sensation, but we don't want pain. This pose sometimes is hard to distinguish the difference because we call it fire toe pose for a reason, but it's really great at activating and awakening possibly a blocked kidney meridian and letting that chi start to flow. Softening, focusing on your breath, coming back to the counting. Remember that we're not staying in this pose nearly as long, so trying to stay here for just a little bit longer. Focusing on your breath, removing the clutter that may enter your mind. Closing your eyes, relaxing your neck. Let's take 3 more really deep breaths here. And 1 more and we'll be at our time. Coming forward, letting your feet fall flat and maybe sitting back down on your feet just for a second here. Wiggling your toes if you need to. And we'll find ourselves in a seated position. So we're going to be coming into our shoelace pose, but we're going to do a half shoelace. So that's going to be extending your right leg in front of you, taking your left leg and stacking your left knee over your right knee. So your right is extended and you stack. So from here, if you have this little pranayama bolster, you can place it right on top of your lap, and it's nice to just fall over. So you're going to start to feel quite a bit of sensation on the back of your extended leg. Folding forward, rolling our shoulders down, letting our gaze fall, closing your eyes if that feels okay. pushing down on the floor of the mat, just letting your fingertips just lightly touch. We're going to sink into our pose here. Remembering to find your edge, acknowledging what you feel with your inhales, observing, accepting, and exhaling. Every exhale, you may start to sink deeper, folding more forward, feeling like your body is opening up, letting you relax deeper into your pose. Switch sides. So just bring your left leg extended in front of you, your right leg crosses over, you stack your right knee on top of your left knee, relax your foot. If you have your pranayama bolster or roll up blanket or a small cushion, place it right here. We're going to sink into this side. So letting yourself just fall forward. You're probably going to feel tightness again like we did on the first side. And just let yourself relax, rolling your shoulders down, letting your head relax, knowing that it takes at least 2 minutes for any pose to start to open up those connective tissues, those drier tissues in our body, and to start to give us that flexibility and let us sink deeper into our poses. Coming back to your breath, focusing on your counting, your breath. softening your forehead, letting your neck hang, and sinking into your stillness. Every exhale, we start to let gravity sink us deeper into our fold, relaxing all of our muscles. Let's start to slowly lift out of our half shoelace pose, extending your right leg in front to join the left. We're going to remove this bolster, and we're going to come into a reclined deer pose. So you may want to try a bolster behind you. If you have a rolled up blanket or a cushion, you could try that as well. It's just to lie directly underneath your spine. So for this pose, we'll bring our right leg parallel with the top of our mat. Your left leg will be parallel with the side of your mat. So your shin is right on the side, your foot's off the mat just a little bit here. So we'll start to lean back into a reclined position. And again, you can place the bolster underneath your spine if you would like. If it doesn't feel perfectly fine right there, you can place it underneath your lumbar spine. You can also remove it. Whatever feels good to you. Nothing is right or wrong necessarily. It's just what feels good. So tucking your tailbone, and we're going to sink into our reclined deer pose. So breathing deeply, making sure you're not feeling any pain. Letting your body relax. Breathing into your pose. If you don't want to come all the way down in this pose, you can come on to your forearms and letting your head just hang, relaxed, and stay right here. We're not pushing into the mat, we're just letting our fingertips rest on top. So right here is fine as well, so we're opening up our chest. If you'd like to go ahead and lie back down into the pose, you can. Bringing your arms out to the side. And breathing deeply. back to your 4x4, 5x5, 6x6, wherever you're at with your breathing, coming back to your breath, focusing just on your breathing and letting anything else go. Letting that chi energy flow through the kidney meridian, the sides of your legs, around your knee, all the way down to your pinky toe, along your spine, and meeting at the tip of your tongue. Tuck that tailbone more if you start to get more of a sway in your low back. Keep your low back as flat as you can. Let's take 3 more deep inhales and full exhales right here. Start to lift up out of our pose, coming onto your forearms, straightening your bent left leg in front of you. I'm going to switch sides. So your left leg is going to come in front, across the side of the mat here in line with the top. Your left leg this time is going to be in line, shin in line with the side of the mat. And we can come down onto a bolster or blanket or sofa cushion, whatever you have. Or you can come down with nothing underneath you. Whatever you want to do is perfectly fine. We're going to settle into our pose, either on your forearms or on a proper nun. Sinking in. Breathing here. Tucking your tailbone to get yourself flat. And it's okay if your knee starts to lift a little bit. You might want to extend the bend. As you practice, this fascia right here is going to start to open up and gravity will start sending your knee even closer to the mat. Let's come back to our breath. deep inhales and full exhales. Start to bend your right leg, sending it in front of you, and lowering yourself onto your spine, all the way flat on your back. From here, let's grab onto a rolled up blanket or a foam block or a pranayama bolster, and let's place it right under your tailbone, or right above your tailbone, excuse me, close to your sacrum here. So we're going to come into our legs up the wall with just a little extra lift. So we're going to lift our legs straight up the wall. So a lot of people like to use the support of a strap here. And when I do leg extensions, I always use the strap. So option to use that here as well. But remember, you don't want to be pulling really hard on this strap. You just want to use it as a little bit extra to keep you right where you want to be with your legs at the wall. Just holding very gently onto it. It's a nice loose hold around your feet. If you don't want to use this strap, that's perfectly fine as well. And you can just keep your legs straight up and you can bring your arms out to the side. Legs up the wall. It's working that kidney meridian. It's opening everything up. The chi is flowing. It's also great for your circulatory system and your lymphatic system. So let's breathe here, spending some time with our legs up the wall. Staying in tune with our breath. Our counting of our breath, elongating those inhales and exhales. Let's take 3 more really deep inhales and exhales with our legs up the wall. After your third full exhale, let's bend our knees and bring our knees into our chest. So hugging our knees into our chest fully, maybe start to flex your feet, point your toes, even rotate your ankles. Exhaling, bring our knees down onto, or our soles of our feet down onto the mat. Let's remove our pranayama bolster from underneath of us, or our blanket, or whatever we had underneath our sacrum. So we're getting ready to go into our final pose, our shavasana. However that feels good to you. Some people like to come back onto their pranayama bolsters for their shavasana. You may want to bring your large bolster underneath your knees and let your knees rest on it. You may want to just lie down completely flat on the mat, tucking your tailbone, getting your low back, your lumbar spine closer to the mat. Placing your hand on your chest, placing your hand on your belly. Maybe we need to keep our hands right here so that we focus on the inhales and exhales. Maybe we bring our arms out to the side. So from here, starting to breathe deeply, no need to count any longer unless that helps you with relaxing even more in your shavasana. Starting to feel all of the connection points your body is making to the mat and to the floor. Starting to feel the weight of your body, the weight of your bones. And observing how you feel now as opposed to how you felt at the beginning of your class. Giving yourself the gift of stillness. And if you have a wandering mind, placing your